New year, new horror, but it is January.
Hello, sinners. It is I, Father Evil, and I invite you to Destination Station on YouTube.
Bagels and go to Destination Station. This buddy is the bomb.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
Fucking A.
Yep.
I had to say that for a reason.
Freddie, take that, motherfucker.
All right. Okay. Fuck you.
Jamie Kennedy. Subscribe to my man, Destination Station right now if you want the best content.
What's up? Welcome to Destination Station. As always, I'm Destin. Thank you for clicking on this video. Subscribe to Destination Station if you want Scream, Halloween, and everything in between. And every road leads to Woodsboro, and every town has an Elm Street. Okay, I want to talk about this movie Night Swim, and I've seen a lot of reviews already coming out. It actually releases tomorrow, but I had the chance to go see it a little bit earlier tonight, so I literally just came out, put my right out of the theater reaction out on TikTok and my Instagram, and put a short out here on YouTube and Twitter and everywhere else, everywhere of every corner of every damn part of the internet. Anyways, Night Swim is this new movie from Blumhouse and Atomic Monster, which is James Wan's company, which they just combined forces. So I'm thinking this movie was already made, and then they just kind of threw both of their names on it at this point because they've already made that deal and they became like this horror mega house right now. So yeah, but you know what, I see a lot of other people coming out of this movie doing right out of the theater reactions and movie reviews and saying that, like, I guess like January horror is back, because you know January's always been the dumping grounds for like movies, and especially horror movies and stuff like that. But the last couple years have been kind of surprises with, you know, Scream 5 and Megan that came out last year, and it just seems like better movies are getting released in the month of January. But a lot of people are saying it's starting to resurface with this one. Really, this is like the first horror movie we're getting in 2024. So you know, I didn't know much about it. I saw like one trailer of this, and it kind of snuck up on me that this movie was coming out so early, because I thought, well, this will probably come out in the summer or March or April or something like that. And I was like, nope, it's coming out this week. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, that snuck up on me. So I didn't really have high expectations going into this. In fact, I didn't even know it was a Blumhouse movie until I sat my ass down in that seat and saw it. So it came to my knowledge right before the movie that this was a short film here on YouTube back in 2013 or 14. I think you can watch it right now. So go ahead and check that out. I haven't seen it yet. I plan on watching it. But this has happened before with Lights Out, you know, like these little short horror movies, and then they get turned into this big full featurette, which is kind of cool, you know. And this concept, you know, take it with a grain of salt, because it is a haunted swimming pool. And I was like, how, there's only so much you can do with that, right? It's one thing to do like a haunted scene in a swimming pool, but the whole entire house being haunted. But this is like specifically the swimming pool, and I didn't know how they were going to pull this off. And once I started seeing some of the reactions and reviews before going into the movie, I almost was like, okay, I think I'm going to wait until later on in the weekend when I find more time. But I was like, no, I already got this ticket. Let's just go. I didn't really have much to do tonight. So I went, and I have to say, I walked out of it pleasantly surprised. Was it the best horror movie I've ever seen? No. Was it the best PG13 horror movie I've ever seen? Hell no, it was not. But I do have to say that there are some redeeming elements of it. It was well made. It was well shot. It was well acted in some parts. There are some bad acting here and there, but for the most part, the main family that we're following, you know, the kids, they don't seem like they're that annoying or anything. They really seem like they're kids and their siblings, and they act the way siblings usually act. I always remember like the way me and my sister used to act, you know. Yeah. But with this whole concept, like they do throw a lot of stuff in there, and some things work and some things don't. That's what I have to say about this. They do the little haunting trope of where like the dad kind of starts, getting taken over and everything. And we've seen that in Amityville and other horror movies, like Poltergeist, and it gave me a little bit of Poltergeist feel. The opening scene was really well made. The way the camera was shot, the sound design. Go see this in a theater that has really good sound design, like a Dolby Atmos theater or something, because that's what I saw it in, and I think that might have really enhanced the experience, because just those sounds and every little thing it's part of the movie. It enhances it. So, but I actually had a really good time for a PG-13 horror movie. I'm not expecting much at all out of these type of movies. So when one can kind of like surprise me a little bit and kind of be kind of cool in a way, I like it. There are some slow moments. This is about 1 hour and 35 minutes, and it feels like it's a little bit longer because the build up to it is just kind of like we're getting to know this family. They're moving into a house. It's these same old horror tropes, that we've seen so many times in these haunting movies. But we kind of get some backstory with the dad and his career and his illness that's going on, and it's just the way this movie develops. I didn't know exactly how far they were going to go into like explaining the lore, what's going on, how is this pool haunted, and honestly, they do a little bit of it, and I think they did enough for their first movie. I was like, okay, they did more than I expected, so I was like, okay, I like that. But there are some cheesy elements in the later half of the movie when it gets into like the third act. Some of the acting from Wyatt Russell, I was kind of like, the less said is better. Because he does look menacing, but then when he would talk or something like that, and they did like this whole Marco Polo thing with his, around the house, and I was like, okay, maybe we shouldn't see him saying Marco or something, like it just kind of like he's no longer menacing. So it's definitely got that PG-13 horror movie feel. It would have enhanced the movie if this movie was rated R and they really did get a little bit more vicious. Another thing about like the entity within the pool, there were certain things that I thought that was like, it kind of scared me. There's this one part where the kid puts his hand into like the filter of the what do you call it, like the filter of the pool, and like this hand comes out, and it kind of gives you a little bit of it feels there, because there's like a little boat and all kinds of stuff. You'll see it whenever you see it. I don't want to tell you too much, but I thought it was pretty good jump scares here and there. Is there a lot of deaths or anything like that? No. Some of the entities look kind of scary, the way that they're kind of like out of focus. That's whenever I liked what I was seeing, was whenever the entity was out of focus, and maybe it's like sitting there in the water or out of the water or on the diving board, and we don't really see it clearly, but we can tell that it's like ugly, but whenever there was one scene where it does show the entity a couple times later on in the movie, and I was like, oh, that feels like Ghostbusters. like those ghosts or zombies or whatever, those dead people that you would see in the Ghostbusters movies. I was like, okay, they didn't get too frightening with the entity look. It would have been a lot scarier if you didn't see it up close and clear view, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I know that a lot of people would want to see that. Just if they would have made that a little bit more scary, I think that would have been a little bit better. The whole ending to where when it builds up the lore and then what's going on with the dad, if they would have made that a little bit more frightening, I think that would have been a little bit better. Less is more in this type of movie, and whenever they tried to do a lot more, I felt like that's when it kind of fell flat. But I'm not going to hate the movie. I don't like to just hate on movies just because it sucked or whatever. If it really sucked, I'm going to let you know. But this movie was well made, and it's one of the better PG-13 horror movies out there. Just know you're going into a PG-13 horror movie. Have a good time. Turn your brain off a little bit. It does take itself seriously, and in the the later half of the movie, it just it falls in a few places. It tries to do a few unique things that just don't really work. But overall, I thought it was cool. Some of these camera shots and stuff that I was talking about earlier reminded me of like James Wan. And I know this is Blumhouse and this is Atomic Monster with James Wan. So yeah, I can see a little bit of that touch there. So you know, it's awesome that another horror short on YouTube has been made into a full-length feature. So you know what? I give you praise for that. I'm not gonna hate on you for that. Maybe they wanted to make a PG. Maybe they wanted to make a rated R movie, but they had to make a PG-13 one. So I think they succeeded in what they were wanting to do. Here, I don't know if this is going to be financially successful. It will be better with younger audiences and teenagers and stuff, because I think that that's what it's more directed towards. If it makes good money, maybe they'll do a sequel, and maybe they can up the violence a little bit, you know, and make it a little bit more carnage candy. I don't know. Let me know what you think about A Night Swim. And have you seen the short on YouTube? I have not. Let me know down in the comment section below. And what's your favorite PG-13 horror movie? I really want to know, because this is a topic. I think I'm going to do a live stream sometime here in the near future of the best PG-13 horror movies, because they're few and far between, but when they're good, they're good. So that's going to be a live stream here soon, and probably a video on my channel. So subscribe to Destination Station. Also, we do live streams Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday is for members only, so consider becoming a member. And Wednesday is Dose of Horror, where we talk all about all the trending horror news. And then Friday, 10 p.m. Central, is our weekly Scream Talk. So yeah, stick around for a while. Hang out, be a part of the fam. I love your faces, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.